We continue in Shmuel Aleph Perek Chav Vav, Pasuk Chaf Aleph. After David proves the second time that he does not want to kill Shaul, he's no enemy of Shaul. Yomer Shaul says, Chatasi, Shuv b'ni, Chatasi, I have sinned. Shuv b'ni David, return my son David. Ki lo ara lecha od, I will not do any more bad to you. Tachas asher yokra nafshi be'einecha, since I see that my soul is precious in your eyes, hayom hazeh, on this day. Hine hiskalti, behold, I have acted foolishly, ve'eshkeh harbe ma'od, and I made a great mistake. So David was saying to Shaul that I'm going to have to leave to go to Chutz La'aretz, go out to the Eretz Yisrael. And Shaul says, no, I want you to come back with me and don't go to Chutz La'aretz. Nothing else is going to happen, no bad is going to happen to you. Number one, because I see how precious my soul is in your eyes. When you had a chance to kill me, you didn't kill me. And number two, Shaul regretted the past, that he saw that his chasing David was really very foolish. And he's repeated the sin a lot. He's made a terrible mistake, but he now confesses he's made this mistake. Pasuk Chavez, Vaya'an David, and David responds. Vayomer, and he says, Hinei Chanis HaMelech, here is the spear of the king, go take it. Vayavor Echad Manarim, the Kacheha, and one of the boys, lads, will come and take, will pass by and take your spear. In other words, I don't believe it. I'm not going to even give you the spear. You send someone to get the spear. I just don't believe what you're saying. And he continues, Chav Gimel, V'Hashem yashiv la'ish es sitkaso v'es emunaso, and Hashem should return to a person his righteousness and his faithfulness. Hashem nesancha Hashem hayom biyod, to the one that Hashem has put you today in his hand. Lo avisi lishloch yadi, and I did not wish to cast my hand b'Mashiach Hashem, of the one who is anointed by Hashem. So Malbim explains that Hashem should always reward a person who does something similar to what I did. And you see this, what Hashem does. Hashem does return righteousness and a merit to when people do something good. Because Hashem gave me a second opportunity to do a righteousness with you. Just like, in other words, what he's basically saying, if a person does a chesed, Hashem should repay him by giving him other chances to do chasadim. And just like here, that David did a righteousness, he didn't kill Shaul, that he had it in his chance before. So Hashem gives him another opportunities to come into his hands, and he does righteousness, doesn't kill him. And therefore, that's what he's saying, that I didn't do it a second time. Asher nesancha Hashem hayom, that Hashem gave me a second time to kill you, and I didn't do it. So that's the second opportunity Hashem gave me. And also that I'm very trustworthy, as we'll see in a minute where's his trustworthiness. And as well, Hashem is saying Hashem should reward other people in the same way like he's rewarding me here. Chavdal v'nei kasher godlo nafshecha hayom hazeh be'enoi, and as today your soul has become made big in my eyes today, kein tigdal nafshi b'nei Hashem v'yatzileni mikol tzara, and so should my soul be made big in Hashem's eyes and save me from all distressful situations. And so therefore Hashem, that's mean Hashem should be believed, that Hashem has returned his righteousness and his faithfulness. His righteousness is that he gave me another opportunity to do another mitzvah, and his righteousness is that he should save me just like I have saved you. So in other words, forget it, we can never be together. You're just not a person who can remain with what should be, but you get swayed very easily by what others tell you. Chafei, Vayomer Shaul David, Shaul says to David, Baruch atah b'ni David, blessed are you, my son David, Gam aso saseh v'gam yachol tuchal, you shall surely be able to do, and you shall surely be able to succeed. Vayelech David l'darko, David went on his way, v'Shaul shav limkamo, and Shaul returned to his place. I would suggest, this is the second time we've seen this already, when they leave each other, and I believe it's almost exactly the same wording. If you look at the end of no, it's not. It's stronger. The last time they separated, it says Vayelech Shaul el Beso, and David and his men Olu al Hametzudah. But here, I think it's a little bit stronger. What the Navi is saying, that Shaul returned to his place, meaning in his place. A lot of times people get in a place in their mind, in their mindset. You know, this is how far I want to be a Jew. I don't want to be anymore. And they stick in that makom. Shaul returned to his place of ineffectiveness, his place of not being able to change. He stayed in the same place and didn't grow. While Vayelech David ledarko, David went on his way. His way, means a path. You're going somewhere. You're moving. You're ascending. You're growing, and that's what he's saying over here. Even before, like Shaul goes back to his house, and David goes to his Metzudah, his fortress. David is always growing in his experiences, and Shaul is not growing in his experiences. Once he's made up his mind, this is what he feels about David. You know, it's no different than people come, you know, for the high holidays only. They make up their mind. They don't want to be religious. The rabbi inspires them in Kippur. Oh boy, it really feels great, and they go back lim komo. They go back to their place. Go back to their same place, and nothing ever changes. Shaul never ever changed. With all the proofs, he never ever changed. Such clear proofs. Yeah, but you know, no, my officers say no, it's not 100% true. You know, it still might not be. After all, maybe, you know, one of my arms bearers left it behind and he picked it up. You know, it's ridiculous. But any little excuse so I can stay in my place. You know, instead of going to Hashem's place, he's lim komo, he's in his place. And that really shows that there's, and you know, this was, you know, Shaul just was his final chance. This was the final chance. He could have just said to his officers, "You don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here. David's right, and I was totally right." He said he was wrong. Chatasi. You know, people clap their chests on Yom Kippur, but they still go back to their same place of Averis. He says, "I have to do something about this. I have to really change." And at this finally had such proof to change. He didn't change. So on every level, Shaul failed in terms of doing tshuva on this Avera. And therefore you'll see the not good results that are going to happen soon. On the other hand, David just keeps going on his darko. He just keeps going on his path. There's challenges on his path, and every time, and you see, he's even saying, according to the Malbim, that, you know, as Hashem gave you another opportunity to chesed, and another chance to take revenge on you, and it didn't take revenge on you. David always looks at these difficult opportunities to grow as going on his path of growth, which he is growing all the time. While Shaul just keeps going back to his same place, making the same mistakes. Even though, the Metzudas explains in this pasuk, on the words Baruch Atah, he says, "I see that you are blessed, and you're going to do wondrous things. You're going to have a lot of success in life." But you know, but still, I just can't change my ways. Okay. The next parak.
What would have happened if David would have gone back with Saul as he asked him to? He would have killed him?
Who knows? David felt pretty sure. Listen, for David to have to go and leave Eretz Yisrael is a very strong statement, but he must have been pretty sure that he would not have lived.
Saul seems sincere when he says that.
Yeah, but he's surrounded by his officers who keep convincing him the opposite. That's what you need the other Chazal that we keep quoting to say that, and Avner this time was the one. Between Avner and Doeg, the guy's got no way he's going to improve. Yeah. Okay, the next parak of Zion is a pretty simple parak, not a lot of deep ideas, and you can see how short the parak is. Chav Zion is only 12 psukim, and really it only serves one function, as you'll see very shortly. Vayomer David alibo. David spoke to his heart. You see how clear he's saying. Ata esafet yom echad b'yad Shaul. Now, one day I'll be finished in the hands of Shaul. See, he didn't believe him. Ein li tov ki imolet el eretz plishtim. The only good thing I can do is to escape to the land of the Plishtim. V'noash mimenu Shaul, and Shaul will give up hope of finding me, l'vaksheni, to search me out anymore, v'chol pu Yisrael, in any of the boundaries of Israel, v'imlatati miyado, and I will have escaped from his hands. So the Malbim explains that, not every day Hashem will do miracles for me, and even if Hashem does miracles for a person, it reduces his merits in Shemaim. It takes withdrawals out of your schus account, and could be I don't have any more schuyot. I was saved twice by Shaul's hands. I don't know if I'm going to get any more miracles like this. So therefore he says, there's no good for me. The only good thing for me to do is to escape the land of the Plishtim. And he gives 3 reasons. Number 1, that as long as I am in Eretz Yisrael, Shaul will always think I'm going to gather up people to rebel against him, but will not be the case if I go to the land of the Plishtim. So therefore, what will happen? So that's clearly that if I go away, he's not going to. He's going to know I'm not trying to rebel against him, and that which he says, and Shaul will give up hope. He doesn't. He's not going to plan on thinking about me trying to rebel against him. And and also, if the fact is he won't be able to find me, right? He won't be able to find me. Then he's going to give up hope trying to run after me. He's not going to search around after me because he won't find me since I'm not here. And certainly he's not going to go to the land of the Plishtim because the king of the Plishtim can even protect me. Because one thing's for sure: if the world perceives that David is an enemy of Shaul, and Shaul's going to go into the land of Plishtim to get David, the Plishtim are not going to allow him. They're going to stop him. So those are the 3 reasons why David figures right now that's the best strategy to employ to leave. And again, it's pikuach nefesh. Pikuach nefesh, threatening to one's life, is doch and pushes away all mitzvahs. Beis. Vayakam David. So David gets up. Vayavor hu v'sheish meos ish asher imo. He crosses and his 600 men with him. El Achish ben Ma'och melech Gas. To a person by the name of Achish, the son of Ma'och, the king of Gas. Now, if you recall, in Perek Chav Aleph, he already once ran away to the Plishtim, to Achish, and he had to feign craziness in order to escape. So why is he going back? So that's the famous question. So the Malbim answers that first time he went alone. So if he went alone, the reason why they were so suspicious of him is they figured he went as a spy for Shaul. So, and also, what can the Plishtim gain from one person? They have no personal gain from one guy. But now he's come with 600 men, so clearly you can't suspect them of being spies. And now, perhaps these 600 men could become an infantry that could work for the Plishtim. Therefore it says he comes, but with his 600 men. So with his 600 men, that is a good reason why. Reason number 1, why David feels he's safer now going to the land of the Plishtim. Pasuk Gimel gives us another reason. Vayeshev David im Achish begas. David lived with Achish in Gas. Hu vanashav ishu beis. So him and his men, each man and his family. David ushtei nashav. David and his 2 wives. Achinoam hayisraelis vavigail eshes novel hakarmelis. Achinoam from Yisrael, and Avigail, interesting, still calling her the wife of Novel, from Carmel. So the second reason is when David came the first time, he came by himself, so he could run away from him. But now everyone's come with their families, and they're living as families, so they want to just stay. They want to live here. They want to be part of the Plishtim, and they want to be part of that society. They're not going to planning on doing any spying and attacking and running away. You don't go and fight with people by bringing your family with you. Okay, so those are 2 good reasons why he went now, knowing that nothing's going to happen to him. Pasuk Dalet. Vayugad l'Shaul kivarach David Gas. It was told to Shaul that David ran away to Gas. V'lo yasafo levaksho, and he no longer continued to search after him, just as David had predicted. Pasuk Hey. Vayomer David el Achish. David says to Achish, if I have found favor in your eyes, give me a place, give me one place in the cities of the field that I can live there. Why should your servant live in the capital city together with you in Gas? He went to Gas. Gas was one of the capitals. This is where the king is. So why should I go where the capital is? So now, so in other words, he does not want to live in the capital. So why? So first he says, why would Achish have wanted him to stay in the capital? Number one, Achish might want him to stay in the capital because he's afraid that David might rebel. So if he's in the capital, the king has got his soldiers, so as soon as he sees David making any trouble, he can squash any type of rebellion. Therefore he says, Im no motzasichein, if I have found favor in your eyes and you don't suspect me anymore. Because it's been there a little while, and the way he's come, it looks like he's coming peacefully. Another reason why the king might want him at the capital is maybe the other Plishtim will harm him. But in the capital, the king can protect him. So he says, give me a place that's separate from all the Plishtim, a very desolate area. And maybe he might be afraid if he gives him a fortified city. He says, no, give me one of the cities in the fields, an open city, so I'll be of no, don't have to worry. Just let me stay somewhere, or just with my family, etc. So you see what David is trying to do. He's trying to make his own little Jewish ghetto. Just like when the Jews went down to Mitzrayim, they lived in Goshen. David doesn't want to be influenced by them. He's trying to create his own little borough park, his own little Jewish ghetto. Now he's not with all of this. Just give me a place out in the open fields. So David is trying to minimize the damage of being amongst the Plishtim. Pasuk Vav, Vayitin la'achish bayomahu es Tziglag. So therefore Achish gave him on that day a city called Tziglag. L'chein therefore he said Tziglag l'malcha Yehuda ad yom hazeh. And therefore Tziglag is a city of the kingdom of Yehuda until today. The Radak has something to say on this pasuk. The Radak says, and he has a question. They all ask a question over here. It appears that Tziglag was a Plishti city that was given over to David. But in Yehoshua, it says at the time of the conquest, Tziglag already belonged to the tribe of Yehuda. It was given to the tribe of Yehuda. So why is it making it appear that now Tziglag becomes a Jewish city? So either you have to say in Yehoshua that Tziglag was for Yehuda, but that's only in the future, and now the future is happening, and now it will become part of Yehuda. Or we could say that the Jews did capture it initially, but then the Plishtim took it back. And now that David came back, now he was able to have it, therefore it remains part of Jewish hands forever afterwards. So that's where it says, L'malcha Yehuda, not Le-Yehuda. Meaning to say, since it got lost, it really wasn't Yehuda's anymore. David, as a king, took it back for himself. Okay, that just deals with the technical issue of Tziglag. Now that would make a lot of differences. It's already, we just said anybody who goes to Chutz La'aretz. Now I got to really start asking questions. The whole Chazal seems to be at jeopardy. Anyone who leaves to go to Chutz La'aretz, it's as if he worships idols. But now it appears it's not so pashut that Tziglag is even Chutz La'aretz. Remember, Yehuda borders with the Plishtim. The Sheva Yehuda borders with the Plishtim. So if indeed Tziglag was such a place, so again, according to one shot, it always was a Jewish place, but it was taken over by the Plishtim. So again, so what does Chutz La'aretz mean by definition? Chutz La'aretz does not necessarily by definition mean out of the boundaries. Do you have it? Is it in your map there, Tziglag?
Yeah.
Let me see. Where? Okay. So Tziglag, that would appear to still be in the Jewish hands, but see Gas, it's right there. You see it? It's right, Gas, and then drop down about an inch down and to the right. Then you got Tziglag. Keep going down. So and you see it's got to be because you see there's parts of Shimon right underneath.
That's Shimon, yeah.
So that has to be part of Eretz Yisrael, but it's bordering. So, whatever shot you want to say, it was in Plishti hands. And this was not part. Clearly, he's running to the Plishtim. But it could be it is part of Eretz Yisrael, HaKadosha, but it was in Plishti hands. So that's already, you see. So even though he now is living there, and he's living away from them, but when he first ran away, he's in Plishti territory. Right? He did go to Gas.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, even Let's ask even a simpler question. Gas, this is all part of Eretz Yisrael.
True. Yeah.
Till the Mediterranean Sea, it's all Eretz Yisrael. So what are you going to the Pelishtim? He's going to occupied territory. He's going to an Arab village in Eretz Yisrael.
That's true.
Right? So he obviously was in Eretz Yisrael. So what are we saying? You can be in Eretz Yisrael and be in Chutz La'aretz.
Right.
That's what you see. You can live in Eretz Yisrael and still be in Chutz La'aretz. That's what they're saying. So what does it mean? Because the Pelishtim are in control, and you're going to learn from the Pelishtim, as we said before. And then all kinds. So the whole Chazal gets turned on its head in many ways. Therefore, you cannot learn the Pshat Pasha. You can't have it both ways. You can't bring a proof from here that you have to live in Eretz Yisrael and yet maintain that Gush Katif is Jewish territory. You can't have it both, you understand? You can't have it both ways. Because is this part of Eretz Yisrael or not? Clearly it's in Eretz Yisrael. So how can Chazal say anybody who doesn't live in Israel doesn't have a God? Anyone who doesn't live in Israel worships idols. This is happening in Israel. Let me look again. What's the exact Lashon of the Gemara? Look at the exact Lashon of the Gemara. Now it's making me think.
It doesn't define.
A person should always live in Eretz Yisrael and not live in Chutz La'aretz. Okay. But then when they were going to bring the proof with David himself says, I'm worshiping other gods. Right? Call it Dor b'Chutz La'aretz. So it's being Chutz La'aretz. It's not Chutz La'aretz. But it's like Chutz La'aretz. You see, if there isn't Jewish dominion over a piece of land, it's like Chutz La'aretz.
So the land was Israel, but the people that lived there weren't. So that's what
it's not under Jewish control, and it's not being lived as Jews should live in that land.
Right.
So so what are you going to say now about of all of Eretz Yisrael?
I don't know.
It's not really in Jewish control. As much as you say it's in Jewish control, it's not in Jewish
Jewish
control.
land. The land belongs to Israel, but because it's an Arab village or whatever.
But I'm saying anywhere in Eretz Yisraal today isn't Eretz Yisraal because
absolutely.
the biggest proof is you can't go and build a shul wherever you want.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not saying there's not virtues to living in Eretz Yisraal. I'm not saying that, but don't say that the proof. This proof, if you don't live in Eretz Yisrael, it's like without a God. You see, even the whole proof is even in Eretz Yisrael. David was in Eretz Yisrael, and he's saying it's still I'm without a God. If you live in an Eretz Yisrael, you can't do Torah mitzvahs. It's of no benefit.
That's right.
Okay. Anyway, interesting point. Pasuk Zayin. Vahi mispar hayamim asher yashav David b'stei Pelishtim yamim ve'arba chadoshim. And it was the number of days that David lived in the fields of the Pelishtim. It's a very strange term now. Yomim, days, V'arba chodashim, and 4 months, which gives trouble for the commentaries. But the Malbim just simply says he was in Gas for a few days. He lived there for a few days, Yomim in Gas, and then in Siglag 4 months. Therefore, it said the yomim before the chadashim, the days before the months. He was there a few days in Gas, and then 4 months he was in Siglag. Okay. Now, Ches. Now, you think David's just sitting around doing nothing? He's got plenty to do. He doesn't sit around. You figure, at this point, okay, just stay in, in exile, and just live there. But David doesn't waste his time there. Ches. Vayal David v'Noshav. What would David now? What really was going on over here? What's David's real thing? Why didn't he want to be in the capital city? Because now him and his men could do whatever they wanted, and no one would know what they're doing. Vayal David v'Noshav, and David and his men went up. Vayivshetu el Hagshuri v'Hagrizi v'Amaleki. So what did they do? They spread out against the non-Jewish nations of the Geshuri, the Grizi, and the Amaleki. Meaning to see, they went out to battle. They fought wars. Okay, they fought wars, and they killed these enemies of the Jews. Why were they able to do this? Because they were staying in the land for a long time. Boach Ashura, coming up to a place called Shur, Vad Eretz Mitzrayim, until the land of Mitzrayim. So it seems that they were from wherever, if you look on your map again, from where Tziglag is, going due south west towards Mitzrayim. I don't know if they mention any of the non-Jewish nations, or it's totally off the map already. No, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. But he goes and attacks these people. In other words, why was he, in the Bible sense, why was he attacking these nations? Because they were dwelling on the land, and therefore they could have land disputes with the Plishtim, like all neighbors do, and therefore the Plishtim wouldn't be upset if he was attacking them. Listen, David's doing me a favor. He's taking care of all my neighbors who aren't, I'm not on the friendliest terms. Remember, no non-Jewish nations can ever get along with each other unless they're fighting the Jews. So he attacked them because they were dwelling there for a long time. And the second reason, it says, Me'olam, from the days of Yeshua, and really they were from the 7 nations, and there was a mitzvah to kill them. And they were saying, Boach Ashur, as it says in Sefer Yeshua. I guess Shur is one of the borders of Eretz Yisrael. So therefore, there's 2 reasons. A, he's not so upset that he's fighting them, Achish, and B, David's fulfilling the mitzvah that no other king was fulfilling. He's cleaning up Eretz Yisrael. So if anything, Adarabah, David is still being very productive and transforming parts of Eretz Yisrael that are like Chutz La'aretz, and by conquering them, he's turning them back into Eretz Yisrael. Pasuk Tes. And look, you can see by the way he goes about the destruction. Pasuk Tes. V'hika David es haaretz, and David smote the land. V'lo yechaya ish v'ish, he didn't allow a man or woman to live. And he would take sheep and cattle and donkeys and camels and clothing, and he'd return and come to Achish. In other words, he didn't take back any captives.
So he was doing on behalf
he took
of
everything. Well, yeah, it's not clear. We'll see in a minute. And he'd come back. He'd always come back to Achish and tell him what he was doing. Like he's a real big help for him. 1 second. Ches and Yud. So there was one Matsudas that I. 1 second. Pasuk Ches. 1 second. The Matsudas learns a little different why he attacked these people. He says it seems that they had always been living there for a long time and they never did make any fights with the police, and therefore they would be caught off guard. Okay, so there's different ways of understanding what he did exactly. You'll see in Pasuk Yud as well, since David killed all the people, took no prisoners, nobody could really know what he really was doing either. So we'll see in a minute. Pasuk Yud is a little bit of a difficult pasuk. Vayomer Achish. So Achish said to him, in generally, Al Pishatatem Hayom.
Who did you raid today?
Who did you raid today? That was a standard line, because it seems he always raids. Vayomer David, now he doesn't really tell the truth, does he? David said, Al Negev Yehuda, on the southern part of Yehuda, Al Negev HaYerachmeeli, a southern part of a place called Yerachmeel, Al Negev HaKeni, in the southern part of Keni, those are the people from Yisro. So again, it's not an easy pasuk to translate. From the Malbim, it seems, he says it's a questioning way. Like you certainly, in other words, haven't you raided somebody today? And just speaking, generally, so who are you raiding today? Didn't you raid anybody today? And David began to saying, yeah, I'm raiding now Jewish towns. This is all Jewish towns, Yehuda, part of Yehuda. So David now is saying this. Now how is he able to get or a similar idea? Matsudas one is similar in that first point, that haven't you raided anyone today? And David would say, yeah, we did. And sometimes it would be to part of Yehuda, sometimes there's of that. And why, and this is what the Matsudas adds, is that he's trying to make it seem that David now is rebelling against the Jewish people. So now it's not just he's killing non-Jews, that could be beneficial for the police. He's attacking Jews. Now how is he able to say such a lie? Because that's what now Pasuk Yud Aleph explains why he's able to say such a lie. He says, V'ish lo yechaya David l'havi gas le'mor. He didn't allow a man or woman to live. He killed them out a whole city. So they couldn't be brought to Gas to say, Pen Yagidu anymore, lest they say, Kawasa David, this is what David did, V'kol Mishpato. And that was the way his justice was, calling all those days. Asher Yoshev B'stei Plishtim, when he lived by the land of Plishtim, which he killed them all out, so there'd be no one to disprove what David said. So what is David slowly doing? You see in Pasuk Yud Beis, Vayamein. Now certainly David did, I'm sure, during this 4 months kill non-Jews as well. I'm sure he did. But as well, he lied and said he's killing Jews. Now he's doing that. Why? Yud Beis, Vayamein Achish b'David lemor, and Achish trusted David, saying, Havei shivish b'Amo Yisrael. He has now become disdained and doesn't care for his Jewish people. So and he'll be a servant for me forever. So Mamam explains
that he actually killed Jews.
No, he didn't. He led him to understand. He never killed any Jews. But he told him. He said, well, where did you raid today? Yeah. Oh, today I raided Jews in the southern part of Yehuda. Yeah. Oh, really? And you killed? Yeah, I killed them all out. And look, here's the flock. Here's the sheep. He's all the thing. And many times he said he'd come back. Now, really, what was he doing? He was killing other non-Jewish enclaves. But he said he was killing Jewish enclaves. And he's doing that so that will slowly get Achish to feel a sense of security in David, that David has totally rebelled against Shaul. And that's what the Malbim explains in Yud Beis, that it's possible, Achish is always afraid there could be battles between the Jews and the Plishtim, and he would help the Jews, right? So, but we see, no, once he's killing all the Jewish cities, according to what he's saying, I know he's now with me forever, and now I know I have a trusted fellow. Now, what David's ultimate long-term plans are, it's hard to know. It could very well be that David was just lulling Achish into this false sense of security, because, as we're going to see in the next parak, after Shmuel dies, as long as Shmuel's alive, we don't see much the Plishtim rearing their ugly heads. They did it once with Goliath, and then David killed him, and that was it. But it seems it was generally, fairly quiet. When Shmuel's going to die, that's going to be a golden opportunity for Plishtim to start up again. And could be David was sensed, since Shmuel was not really being very much involved as he used to be, as we learned before, it says Shmuel was getting older, right? And even though it says that already once that Shmuel died, we're going to see he did not yet, it doesn't matter. But since Shmuel died, it was a matter of time till the Plishtim will attack the Jews. So now David can't just stand by being in exile, not being able to help his fellow Jews. So if he can gain Achish's confidence, and then perhaps when the Plishtim attack, David will be amongst those that are attacking, then he'll turn on them and can create a tremendous Jewish victory. And then again, that could be the greatest proof. That could very well be Shaul could die in the battle against the Plishtim, and David will be victorious. And therefore what will emerge is David showing his true colors of being a good Jewish hero. These are all things that could definitely be running through David's mind. But what this parak serves to function as, a number of things. Number one, even if quote unquote, you have had to go chutz la'aretz, quote unquote, he had to go chutz la'aretz, which we're debating, but Moore says he did. But it doesn't mean to say that you don't have beneficial work to do. And killing out non-Jews under those circumstances was a beneficial thing to do. Because you really look about it, and here's an interesting, I didn't mention in Pasuk Ches, but now take a look at Pasuk Ches. Who were the areas that he went to against the Geshuri, the Grisi, and the Amaleki? He's still killing out Amalekis. Now this Pasuk, you have to know what this means. But, it commonly thought, Shaul didn't kill all of Amalek. He left one person, Agag, and from that one came others. You see clearly there, in the other places, there's continued battles with the Amaleki. Now this was, at best, a year or two after the end of the battle. If Agag was the last Amaleki alive, how is David killing Amalekis?
There was still more.
It seems there were many different enclaves of Amalekis. So now go kill this enclave. And he left one out. So, so what about the rest? I guess if you couldn't wipe them out the first time, you're not going to wipe out the others. I don't know. But David is killing out Amalekis. So he's doing very productive work. outside of Eretz Yisrael, which he could not do in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, all he's doing is running away from Shaul. What is he doing by living in Eretz Yisrael? Running away from Shaul, running away from Shaul, running away. What productive lifestyle is that? So he goes outside of Eretz Yisrael to have a productive lifestyle. He's killing enemies of the Jews, and that's supposed to be happening. And according to many enforcers, he's killing non-Jews who are living in Eretz Yisrael, who's supposed to get kicked out. He's kicking them out. And Shaul didn't bother to do it, and all the other Shaul didn't do it. No, he's doing it. So I think, even if you quote-unquote are not living in whatever is called Eretz Yisrael versus Chutz La'aretz, but he's being very productive in Chutz La'aretz. So that's also an important point to recognize.
But he's not really Chutz La'aretz.
Well,
Yeah, but the Gemara calls it. Gemara is using it as a proof he left Eretz Yisrael.
So the people he...
So you see, when you learn a piece of Gemara, just saying when people quote one line of Gemara, you got to know what the Gemara really
Not good
means.
enough.
It seems so that Gemara, Eretz Yisrael could be Chutz La'aretz. And even if you are going, there's a lot of productive things you can do. Again, it's not an optimal situation. There's a lot you can be very productive in Chutz La'aretz.
So he's allowed to kill Amalek wherever, but the other people he's killing, they have to be outside of Israel for him to kill, right? On the inside, because he has no right to kill them if they're outside of the land.
At this point in time, right.
Right?
But according to Malbim, these were all from the 7 nations that Yeshua never
he's
killed.
inside the land.
He's inside the land, but it's not effectively like the land because there's no Jewish control, there's no Shemitah, there's no Yovel, there's no it's the land of Israel. There are no mitzvahs are happening in it. If non-Jews are living in the land, the whole beauty of the land is seeing how the land responds to the Jewish people, right? If Goyim live in the land doesn't respond. It doesn't work that way. For 2,000 years, the land was a holy land, but it didn't have anyone to respond to. So it doesn't matter if there's non-Jews. So you see how, you got to get rid of the non-Jews. We learned in the Rambam. You're not allowed to sell property to non-Jews. So it's, that's the issue. So David was making the best of what he could do, and maybe feeling this Yad Hashem that ultimately I'll be able to accomplish great things. Now, another reason why this story, this brief parak is mentioned, as you'll see, we will see in this parak coming up that the Plishtim will attack Shaul, and Shaul will die in this battle. So where's David to help him? So you'll see David, because he wasn't that close to the front, you'll see that he was busy with other activities and wasn't able to help him. It's all because if he was on the run in Eretz Yisrael, then it's up to himself. If he would see the Plishtim fighting the Jews, he would come to battle to help them. But because of the situation he was in, he was unable to help Shaul, as we will see coming up.
What happened to that fish? Why did he not, how did he all of a sudden deal with David as a sane person?
Well, he said, I fooled you. That's all.
He did not
And a lot of times, if you act like a fool, he could even look differently. Made himself look, when you act crazy, you could look differently. He said it was a ruse, whatever. No one seems to be bothered with that question. No one seems to be bothered with that question. He got his sanity back. All right. Perek Chavches. It was in these days. Vayikpesu Plishtim es machaneim latzavoli lechem b'Yisrael. The Plishtim gathered their troops, their camps, to fight against the Jews. Vayomer Achish el David, and now Achish says to David, Yadoa Teda, you surely know, Ki iti teitzei b'machaneh atav nashecha. You will go out to battle with me, you and your men. So the Malbim explains, what does it mean you'll go with me? He says, you're not going to go with the regular forces. In other words, there's all kinds of forces that go on. And then there's, so to speak, like the king's protective guard. Right? And now the protective guard, those are the ones who are there to make sure that nobody turns on the king. Even in a battle, you got to remember, not all your soldiers are loyal. And if battle doesn't go right, all of a sudden your soldiers may turn on you. So you need to have a protective guard. So, and usually the king would use mercenaries to be the protective guard, says the Malbim, because they're getting paid. They don't have any stake in this. In other words, if let's say a king is using only his own local forces, it could be during a battle, let's say there's always cloak and dagger. There's always ministers and underlings who always want to rebel against the king. So what's the best time to set? The general rule of Goyish kingdom, it's always every man for himself. There's no such thing as loyalty. How can I improve my lot, right? The king's strong, we can't do anything. But as soon as there's a weakness, they're overthrown. That's the way life is in the Goyish realm of kings, right? So when they're going out to battle, it's one of the most dangerous time for any king, for him to get assassinated by his own people. Going out to battle, you're not protected, and there's all kinds of arrows flying, and this that. A guy can turn around, from 50 yards away, just shoot an arrow at the king, kill the king, finish. Now he becomes the king. So you have to have an armed guard right around him. And who are you going to pick as the armed guard? Not one of the locals, because you never know. You can't even trust the local. Go pick a foreign mercenary that you're paying. He doesn't care less. It's not his chesed, not his kingdom. Doesn't care. So now, obviously, David is sort of that mercenary. He is that outsider, right? So, number one, he's the best one to protect him, and he can keep an eye on David. Number two, if you go with the regular soldiers, he was always concerned, maybe he won't want to fight against the Jews, right? Or maybe the police won't believe him. Therefore, but to guard the king, that is, and Achish knew he was strong too. He figured that's the safest thing. So if we're going to fight, David, you should know you're going to be amongst my guard, so you can keep an eye on him, and probably it's the safest thing for him. Pasuk Beis. Vayomer David al Achish, David says to Achish, Lochein, therefore, Atot Seda, you shall know, it's asher yasa avdecha, which your servant will do. Vayomer Achish al David, David says, Lochein, Shomer, L'roshi, Asimcha, Yomim, therefore I will make you the protector of my head all the days. So what's going on over here? So when David understood Achish's plans, and that really, according to the Malbim, those were good plans because he never wanted to fight against the Jews. Can you imagine what if Achish said, you're going to take the right flank and attack the Jews? David wouldn't want to attack the Jews. So he says, that's very good. All my job is to protect you. Oh, that's great. For David, that's amazing. I can protect you. You don't expect me to kill Jews. And you never know what David could do up his sleeve in terms of causing a revolution. But he never set out to have to kill Jews. So he makes it, as if he doesn't, it's no big deal. And he says, yeah. He says, so you don't have to, you know how I'm trustworthy for you. And Achish saying, yeah, that's right. And therefore you see how trusted I am in you. And I'm going to make you my armed guard forever. So it seems that's the setup, that David's going to be with him. Let's just do one more quick pasuk. Gimel, Shmuel mace, and Shmuel died. V'yispedulu kol Yisrael, and all the Jews eulogized him. V'yikberu b'Rama b'Iro, they buried him in Ramah and in his city. V'Shol, better, let's not do this pasuk. There's too much in this pasuk. All right, so good. We covered a lot of ground. Next week we get to the story of Shol and the witch.